Arts Weekly, celebrating regional expression, performance, and creativity, is brought to you in part by the Edward D. and Ione Auer Foundation, the Ian and Mimi Rowland Foundation, the family of Dr. Christopher and Kirsten LaSalle, and the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
This is Arts Weekly.
Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts, filling in for Melinda Haynes this week. Lucky for me, today's show features the upcoming seasons for our wonderful area theaters. I will be joined by 4 of my friends to discuss their respective 2013-14 season offerings. In the second half of the show, we'll meet Philip Koglaser of the Fort Wayne Civic Theater and Brian Wagner from Arena Dinner Theater. But first, I'm joined by Tom Hofrichter of First Presbyterian Theater and Lauren Nichols from All for One Productions. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Arts Weekly to talk about the big season ahead for all of us. Now, because I don't want to mix up the viewers, we're going to talk to each artistic director individually, and Lauren, we'll start with you.
All right.
Tell us what's happening in All for One Productions.
This is the time of year when I start to get very excited because things are gearing up. We're planning for all of the shows right now. And as usual, we have a season which I think has something for everyone. We have historic drama, we have comedy, we have fantasy, and then we have a drama which is based on a famous work of literature. So a little something all across the board. We always are aiming for thought-provoking, values-rich, and a little unusual, typically pieces that no one else is doing. So
don't you have something in your mission about literature and kind of bringing the audience to some historic literature?
That's a personal goal of mine because education is definitely one of the mandates of All for One in everything we do. And I love educating an audience. I'm preparing the dramaturgy and
well, you do more than prepare the dramaturgy. You adapt the stories and the script sometimes yourself.
Sometimes I do. I'm working on one for next season. Right. Actually, our opening show, September 6th through 8th, I got that right, is A Mighty Fortress, a one-man show based on the life of German church reformer from the 16th century, Martin Luther. That's Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King. Wouldn't believe when people get confused by that.
Oh, I can believe it.
And this play I did write, but I wrote it 25 years ago.
Oh, really?
This was the first play of mine that was ever produced. My husband toured with it for years when we were a touring company. But now it has been about 10 years since it's been done. Jeff Salisbury will be playing Martin Luther. First time we've done this on a legitimate stage.
Any changes to the script?
We've done a little bit of adjusting. Yeah, I retyped it and kind of took another hard look at it. So we've done some tweaking. I get to redesign the sound. So it's been a long time since that's gotten a fresh take. So I'm looking forward to having it on its feet again.
Great.
And then we have our version of a holiday show is the first 2 weekends in November, The Family Nobody Wanted. And this is based on a family called the Dosses. Mr. and Mrs. Doss were a couple in the 1940s who were childless, wanted to adopt, and they were considered too poor to go through the traditional channels. They heard about what she describes in her book as the gray market, and they eventually adopted 12 multi-ethnic children.
Wow.
Now, at the time, it wasn't that there was 12 of them, it was that they were multi-ethnic.
Absolutely.
On the cover of Life magazine in the 50s, they were dubbed the One Family United Nations.
Wow.
And there was really a surprising amount of prejudice involved. People from the various cultures these children were from didn't want them because they were not one thing.
And not really that surprising for the era of the story. Did you do this script, or is
Nope,
this a script that you found?
This is a script that I found. I'm very excited because I'm hoping to have a family involved with it who have adopted ethnic children, and even one of the children may be in the script. We also would like to work with a local adoption agency and maybe get the audience involved doing some kind of
Does the cast
project.
require 12 And
No,
12
the cast only
each?
requires 7,
Okay.
which I think is much wiser. And at the time, they said, well, if they're just well tanned, it'll be fine. But I would like to use some
Yes,
ethnic
absolutely,
children.
absolutely.
If you took Cheaper by the Dozen and combined it with You Can't Take It With You, you have a sense of the plot. The
Okay.
plot is fictional.
Yeah.
The story, the family is real. So it's a lot of fun. The last act takes place at Christmas, so it's got a holiday feel. And then our February show, the first thing in 2014, is an area premiere, another one that will be very appealing to children because it's based on 19th century children's writer George MacDonald, a fantasy called The Princess and the Goblin, which I am so excited about because it involves some different aspects or different elements for us. There'll be dancers portraying part of the story. We'll have some large-scale puppets.
Wow.
I'm looking
Multimedia and to a certain extent.
Yes, a lot of mixed media, a lot of
Mixed
very
media,
visual,
right.
very theatrical, and it's a story that I think will have appeal right across the board.
And your final show?
1984 by
Oh.
George Orwell. Now, people are not going to believe me when I say that I chose this long before it became a bestseller on Amazon again.
Right, right.
I was just intrigued because it's 30 years since 1984. But now I think for an audience that perhaps has not read this, even if they bought it on Amazon, they need to see the story in order to be able to have a fairer frame of reference. Big Brother being bandied about all over. But what does that really mean? And can you fairly assess whether that is an accurate allusion? Is this a good comparison to be making? How close are we really to this?
And how do we get in touch with All for One Productions to get tickets to this great season?
Season ticket package is great, and if you call 622-4610, or our website is allforonefw.org, you can get season tickets. We've got a special deal going on pairs of tickets right through the end of August.
Great. Thank you,
So-
Lauren.